Okay, so let's start modeling now. One thing we need to really know about before we start modeling effectively is the coordinate system that's used. Now in CAD we tend to use something called the XYZ coordinate system. Okay, if I just click on box here, you'll see it'll hopefully make more sense. So let me move into a 3D view. Okay, so what we're actually seeing here is our three planes that we can work on. And we can add planes, but just for now, let's look at our three main origin planes, okay? So if you think about 3D, if you think about a 3D box like this one up here, this view cube, really we have three facing planes, okay? So you have the top down, and you have these two side planes. You do have the opposite to the top, which is the bottom, but it's created in the same kind of view, if that makes sense. So we have X, Y, and then Z. So X is in red, which is, you can think, it's easy to think of horizontal. Y is vertical, and Z is kind of coming out of the page. If you imagine a 2D piece of paper, X would be along the bottom of the paper, Y would be up the side of a paper, and Z will be coming out towards you, and that's your 3D. Okay, now I appreciate it may be really confusing to those who've not used this kind of coordinate system before. If you don't understand it yet, that's perfectly fine. It will become second nature to you just by using it. Okay, so don't worry if you're not grasping it yet. Just follow along, and as we model, it will become obvious, and it will just be intuitive. If I try and explain it more, it's just going to sound a lot more complicated than it needs to be. And the best way to learn in CAD, again, is just to do it. So if we just start working now, and I'll describe what's happening with the coordinate system as we go, then you'll soon pick up what it's all about. Okay. So what I'm going to do first, I'm going to create a box. Now this create menu here is where we build all our geometry. So this is all our things we begin with. No matter how complicated a model might look, it's created with these simple tools down here. And if you're coming from a Tinkercad background, or you've done our Tinkercad course, then these will be very familiar. The box, cylinder, sphere, things like that. Things like Fusion and Inventor don't tend to use these as much. There's a workflow which I'll show you, but they're still in there if you want to use them. Okay, so for now I'm just going to do a simple box. I'm going to click on that, and then it will ask which plane we want to draw it on. So you think of this, you have your piece of paper. Where do you want to start? Okay, so I'm just going to go with this one here. Actually, let's go that one there. Click on that, and now this can be thought of as our piece of paper here. Okay, I'm going to click on that view just so we're looking directly down onto our surface, and we've got this crosshairs here, so it's asking us to draw our rectangle, our box, sorry. And we do that by first drawing a rectangle of the base of the box. Now you can see this crosshair, it follows my mouse, but if I go near a line, it kind of snaps to it. And if you're following along, you'll notice this happening. Okay, and if we go near to this circle here, it snaps right on it and we get this square. What is this circle? This is called our origin. Okay, so you can see we have these numbers up here, 25, 50, 50, 75. These are our units. So in terms of distance, and our units are set to millimeters, so this is 25 millimeters, 50 millimeters, 75. Okay, same this side, 25. So if we wanted to draw a rectangle which was 50 by 50, we could go along 50 and then up 50, and this would be a 50 by 50 rectangle. Okay, so here is obviously 0, 0, which is known as the origin. The origin is the 0, 0, 0 point. Why 3 zeros? Well, don't forget we've got the height coming towards us out of this sheet, okay? Again, just follow along, and if it's not making complete sense, it will do. So we can snap to this origin, to the 0, 0 point, just by hovering nearby, which I'm going to do now, okay? And you'll see, as I drag out this rectangle, we get these boxes with the dimension in millimeters. And as we move, these dimensions increase or decrease. So if I go up to here, you can see, let me just snap, it's not going to snap straight on it without showing 0, but if we go here, okay, let me do it there, so that's 25 by 25 as close as, yeah, and you could get it exact if you want. So here is 50 by 50, and what you can do, you can use, you see one of them is, I can't point to it with my mouse without going away, but one of them is highlighted in blue, one of those boxes of text, it says 50.506 and it's in blue. The reason it's blue is because it's editable with the keyboard, so I can just type 50, okay, and you'll see it snaps to 50. Now what I can do is press the tab key, which is usually on the left of your keyboard. It's 2 opposing arrows, usually above caps lock somewhere. If I press that, it goes across to the other box, so I could then type 50 in there. And you see we get this padlock. That's basically saying you've typed in a dimension, so it's locked. If I now press return, it goes off and it gives us this rectangle, okay? It's asking for another one now, it's asking for 5. Well, if we hold down shift and your middle wheel and just rotate your view, you will see the reason it's asking us for another dimension is because we're drawing a box, so it's asking for the height of the box, okay? Now we could put in 50 in there, press return, and we get a 50 by 50 by 50 box. 3 dimensions, we've got 50 by 50 by 50, and that's it, okay? So XYZ coordinate is 3 dimensions. You can think of them as length, width and height if you want, but yeah, it depends what you're drawing, but basically that's it. So it will ask for 3 dimensions. Let's do that again.